Afternoon. This is Nita and Miss Panda with the Timepiece Garden. She's been outside playing already because she loves it. So we're expecting storms tonight. Not as severe as, say, Texas is going to have, but sometime after midnight, I'm probably going to end up with some rain. And you can always tell I've got the wind going. You know, storm's coming. Doesn't stop me from getting work done, though. So I've got several things I'm going to try and get done today. Vinegar. I'm going to try and clean one of my solar panels for one of my electric fences. It's got some buildup on it. See if I can get that off. If not, I'm going to end up having to replace it before I get a good garden going this summer. Other things to do today. My 2 elderberries here in the pots have got to get into the ground. It's time. I can't, I was sick. I threw everything behind. I can't wait on this any longer. They've got to go in the ground. In the milk carton, those are actually pawpaws, and it's the same thing. They are bare root. Got to get them in the ground. And then I had a friend gift me with some daylilies. I am not ready to put the daylilies in the ground, but I got to get them out of this pot. I will probably transplant them into one of the elderberry pots, so that way I can water them and drain them, and then put them where I want their final destination to be. And then I've got to get the salt and the water softener. So I've got some stuff to get done, so it's a whole bunch of little stuff. And I'll take you along and just kind of let you see and what I am or am not doing. All right, supervisor's here. She's telling me to get off the phone, and get busy, get this stuff planted. She's like, come on, Mom, what are you doing? Let's get it done. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. All right, so we are in the garden, up here with the elderberries. There's the 2 farthest corner. Long-term goal is that there'll be 2 there, 1 here in the middle, and then 2 more before the swell. Kind of like dice. That puts 5 here. It'll be the same thing on the other side. 2 there, 1 in the middle, 2 at the end. That gives me 10. And in this center area, I want to put 2 more, so I have a total of 12. It's the long-term goal. The 2 here in the middle will be the last 2 that I do, because I have to make sure that the water that comes off the hill always is able to get to the swell without elderberry root problems. Whew, a little out of breath. Haven't done the swell yet, but I have to get these elderberries in the ground, otherwise I gotta wait till next year, and I don't want to do that. So I'll have everything out here with me: shovel, my elderberry pot, 2 gallons of water, and some rabbit manure. Yay! All right, so what do you got? I'm gonna dig a hole that's twice as big as the pot. Does that make sense? And that way you loosen up the soil so the roots have a really easy time when it comes to spread. Once I get all that loosened up, I'm going to put a handful of rabbit manure in there. Rabbit manure is a cold manure, so you can plant it with your plant directly. It does not have to compost, and it won't kill the roots. Excuse me. Chicken manure or cow manure, you should let it sit for a year in your compost, or it can just burn the roots and kill it off. So, hole twice as big, handful of rabbit manure, a good soaking. We're going to have some really good rain tomorrow, which is going to soak the whole hillside. So it's just, that'll be really beneficial for the elderberry. So I have to get them in the ground today. So let me get busy. I'll show them to you when I'm done. And, living life large and loving it. Talk to you in a few. So nothing like digging a hole and digging up some worms. Isn't that awesome? All right, let me keep going. All right, first elderberries in the ground. What I do is I take the shovel and I get the grass and weeds that are in that area, and I literally just flip them over upside down. Roots up, grass down. What that does is that'll kill the grass and the weeds right there on the berm. From there, it creates a berm. So when you water or when it rains, a little bit will puddle right there. You can see there's water in there because I have watered it. That allows it to slowly but surely sink in, well water the elderberry. Does that make sense? Without it just running down the hill, because again, I live on a slope. So, from a side view, there you go. You can see where the water is puddling to the right, because that's the downhill side of the slope. I'll let that soak in well, and I'll give it another watering just to make sure that it's how do I say this? When you first plant something, you want to make sure there's no air pockets. So when you put the the plant in the ground and you put the dirt around it, it makes sense. You want the water to soak in, and that way the little pieces of dirt go in and fill any little air bubbles that might be in there, because the air bubbles will kill the roots. So he's in the ground, got his good soil, got some rabbit manure. The soil that I had to replace from where I made the berm with the grass roots, does that make sense? I just went ahead and took that from my dirt pile. So he's good to go. You know, nice good watering. He's not all droopy. I'll check him again once I get the other one planted. And we'll just keep going from there. And then from there, other things that I have to do, and I'm hoping I have time to get them done today. The elderberries, my tall ones here, should be cut back. What you want to do is, this is a good height, that makes sense, so it grows 2 new branches that you can reach to pick your elderberries, where all this stuff up here is too tall, that's too tall. You know, I can't reach that to do elderberries. So I've actually got to come back here and like pick where I want to stem, cut this one right here. You know, that's about chest high for me. That way this one will grow, and it may produce another one, it might not. That one might be a little too tall, but it's got 2 stems on it. Cut the rest of this off, that way I can reach the elderberries at harvest time. And then from there, if I do that, all of these other separate ones here, for every 2, there's 1 and there's 2. Does that make sense? You cut the stick, this one goes in the water, this end stays out, and that's how you root an elderberry. And again, this is the time, you know? And if I root at least 1 off of every elderberry, it's how I'm gonna get my 12, and not have them be all the same plant. You know, I'll have 12, but it will be 4 of each of the plants, because I'll do 1 off of each of them. All right, anyway, let me get the other one in the ground. Talk to you in a few. All right, elderberry 2 is in the ground. Got the same little berm on the downhill slope. You can see again where the water puddles. That way it soaks in where the plant is before it tries to run downhill. Now the other thing the berm does besides holding water there is it also holds the soil there. You know, the soil has been freshly disturbed. The last thing you want is a bunch of rain or just watering to have it wash that soil and the amenities and the rabbit manure down the hill. It needs to stay right here with this elderberry to give it the best opportunity, you know, to look like its cousin. Yeah, it's another one I gotta trim back just a little. So growing out's cute, but he should grow up. So, you know, I'll probably come down here somewhere and cut him so this guy will grow up, and the rest of this I will try and root. And once I have my 12 elderberries, I will start selling elderberry plants. Isn't that awesome? All right, on to the next chore. Again, I gotta clean up, put the bucket back in the hoop tunnel, you know, just do things I gotta do and move on to the next ones. Talk to you in a few. All right, another one of those chore things. This is my solar panel for my electric fence. This is the first panel that I bought. So I believe this is a bad cell, but the rest of this, I mean, you can feel it is just stuff that is stuck onto the panel. So I was doing some research and it said to wash it with some vinegar, and it should take a lot of that stuff off. If I can't get this clean, I'm gonna have to replace it, you know, and for then we go, yeah, wish me luck. So anyway, let me try and clean it. I got some vinegar here, I got some water, and we'll see if we can clean the buildup off of this panel and get this fence charging correctly again. Talk to you in a minute. All right, put the vinegar on it, used a fingernail brush on it, you know, something that's very soft, doesn't hurt your fingers, so it wouldn't scratch the glass. Now we're gonna give it a second, let it dry. Oh, rinsed it off. We're gonna give it a second, let it dry, see if the vinegar actually cleaned off some of the buildup. And we're gonna go in there and pick some asparagus. Right there, see those 2? And his friend, the 3rd one. We're gonna have those guys for dinner tonight. Everybody else is still small enough that they're gonna stay until after the rainstorm. Like that one, he's too small. But we're going to have 3 of them. I'm seeing onions and mushrooms and really, what are they? I don't know. They're spears. Asparagus. There we go. Onions and mushrooms and asparagus spears sauteed. Nothing but goodness. All right, talk to you in a few. Yeah, it's dry enough for me to tell it didn't work. Did not. It's still bumpy. You can feel the I don't know. I might just have to replace the panel. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna do some more research. Figure out something else.